The night you were playing in San Bartolo, something night, it
right.
was raining, but just as you step on the stage, the rain stopped.
Yeah.
What kind of memories do you have from that first show in Peru?
For me, it was like a dream, you know? For me, it was like a dream state because we were so busy traveling and touring. I think we were playing 5 or 6 shows in a row, and this was like number 3 in the middle of all of that. So it was like a daze. Oh, we're in Peru, what's going on, you know? By the time we really had some food, it was already nighttime. And for me, I only knew a couple Peruvian, some women. One is married to a good friend of mine in California, and one's married to a good friend in Kingston. And both of them were saying, Lima, it never rains. We never get rain in Lima. Okay, cool. And we go to Lima, pouring rain. So I was like astonished, you know. I couldn't wait to go back and tell them. You know, the one day I went there, it was nothing but rain. But to me, it's a blessing. Because if the place doesn't get rain very often, they need rain.
Yeah.
So to have it happen was special, you know? It was great.
Talking about reggae music, I remember in that show you played songs from Bob Marley. And I wanted to ask you, why do you think is Bob Marley still so important in reggae music? I mean, if someone who listens to rock music don't necessarily love the Beatles or the Rolling Stones, why is it that everybody who listens to reggae music always has Bob Marley as
the king?
Yeah. Why do you think about that?
His music is sweet, man. I don't know what to say. I mean, I think Marcus would probably say the same thing. There's many, you know, it's not just one thing that made him really special. Many things made him very special. His voice, his lyrics were very biblical, you know, and for lots of people in the world, the Bible is a very important thing. Reggae music is very strange and different. And for most people, the first time they hear reggae is Bob Marley, because of Island Records and because of him touring the world and promoting the music. Rastafari, to see somebody with dreadlocks speaking in patois, the world never saw that before, and Bob Marley brought that to the world. So there's so many things that Bob Marley didn't create, but that Bob Marley represented. And for so many people, it was the first time they saw that. You know, half black, half white. So many different things made Bob Marley special. His band, the musicians, arguably the greatest musicians who ever played reggae were his musicians. Carlton Barrett on the drums, you know? That's the most signature sound you'll ever hear in reggae, you know? So I feel that all of these things help to really elevate Bob Marley to this kind of legendary, you know, king, untouchable space. Yeah, I don't know.
Still, it's been almost 40 years since Catch a Fire. Like, what could you say about reggae music nowadays, almost 2012? I don't know, what do you think about the world scene about reggae music?
Yeah, man, it's growing. What can you say?
Yeah, I think you know, everybody in the world is still listening to roots reggae. There's a lot of people like catching up, and it's great for us to go out and see, you know, because when you're just in the States, you hear, you know, maybe reggae mixed with hip hop, or you hear the dance hall, or of course there's roots fans too. You know, it's more of a variety. But when you go out, you hear a lot of roots reggae. You know, bands from young bands from wherever, from Brazil or France or Germany or all over every country. You know, and you hear reggae in different languages. You know, but roots reggae, but in other languages. It's amazing, you know. It's really grown, and certain people take different influences from their culture and go one way. And like for us, you know, we had, you know, our background was jazz and, you know, funk and, you know, some Latin music, and we listen to a lot of things. So all that's in our music, which is under the umbrella of reggae music. It's not roots reggae like it was in the 70s, but, you know. So today everybody has their take on it.
And how was your first approach to Rastafari culture? Like, I mean, was through the music or how?
Yeah, through the music. You know, for me it was my first kind of beginnings of life and music, and Rastafari and Dread was always there for me as a kid, even when I didn't even know really what it was. And growing up in Hebrew school and these things, learning about my ancestry with Moses and Aaron and all these things, it's very much the lyrics of Bob Marley, you know, so I really felt that connection to Rastafari, that way of life.
Yeah, but I guess that you guys, when you were kids in your families, you weren't raised Rastafari, like?
No, not at all. And Rastafari is not, it's a way of life, you know. It doesn't take dreadlocks and beards and things to show their identity. It just takes a positive, what they would say, livity, you know? Positive living. To try and do all the good you can. And try to not put forth negative energy in the world. Because the world is about energy. And we want positive energy to reign on the earth. So that is, if you want to call Rastafari, Rastafari, that is the spirit behind it.
Talking about the lyrics in reggae music, there's a lot of reggae singers that in their lyrics they talk about like black people going back to Africa and
repatriation.
Repatriation. A lot of things talking about black people. Do you think the race is something important in Rastafari culture? Like,
it's important to have your knowledge of who you are. I mean, that's what Marcus Garvey was all about, your knowledge of your history. If not, you're like a tree without any roots and you're gonna die, you know? So, for black people, there needed to be a rallying call of, no, we come from a proud race, a proud set of people with a great history that needed to be said, especially within all the oppression and slavery that took place. So, it's very important for African culture to have that identity. While at the same time, Rastafari Haile Selassie, he would be the one to say that no, we are all one race. It's not glory of the black race and fire for the white people. No, it's glory for good people, black and white. That's why the Nyabingi order is death to black and white oppressors. Those are the words of Selassie. So that's what Rasta is. It's oneness.
Also, always it's an issue in reggae music, Rastafari culture, the marijuana subject. What do you think about people in your shows that are not necessarily Rastafari, but they maybe use reggae music as an excuse to use drugs or use marijuana? What do you think about
an excuse?
Or a way to cover themselves, you know, just listen to reggae and smoke weed, yeah.
What do you think about
I mean, in the first part, Rastafari is just a label, you know? It's just a name. So whether people are Rasta or they're not Rasta, it doesn't matter to us at all. Good people is what we're trying to bring, you know? And if, you know, young people and people in general want to escape what's going on, and they try to find other things to do that. Ganja and all this stuff. While some people use it for a more spiritual upliftment. So, I mean, young people will be young people, I guess.
I think everybody has their, you know, their way of dealing with the stresses of life, you know. They say people self-medicate, you know, whether it's food or, you know, an alcohol or marijuana. There's so many ways, you know, that everybody has to find their balance within themselves, you know. So it's not up for each of us to judge someone else on what they're doing and why at the moment.
We hope that sometime when they're smoking, that listening to the music will help lift them up. Something will strike, you know? Something will strike a chord to make them see that life is not about just getting high and whatnot. There's something that's going on within the human society that we need to overcome.
Yeah. So finally, what message would you give people viewing this interview? All your years, all the things that you've learned in your music, in your Rastafari knowledge. What message would you give, like, young people viewing the...
What you got, man?
For us, I think the biggest thing that we've learned is that you know, you got to trust one another and stay together, you know, and keep fighting every day. And you really have to want to work with people, you know, because you're on this earth, nobody's alone, and you have to work together. For us, you know, we've been together 12, 13 years, and it's not always easy. And if we stopped, you know, the music would have stopped. We would have all done fine in life, would have been okay, but we made that fight, we stayed together, you know, and we learn from one each other, and we trust each other, you know, and
yeah.
It's very important in life to have that in order for a community to work. You know.
Yeah, that's it. All the music is all about that, you know. One man doesn't stand alone, you know. You have to really be there for each other, you know. That's the most difficult thing we have. Like in the economy, how the rich people just want to get richer. It's because they don't understand that you're not here for yourself. You're really here for everybody. And that's what Marcus is saying, you know. You really need to be there to support your fellow human, because they're going to be the ones to support you when the time comes. So that's what we learned. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You stand there waiting your